Hello. So, lastly, we have Yerkes, right? Robert Yerkes, um, who, along with Watson, really helped create and well, yeah, set up comparative psychology here in America. So, I think there's still a Yerkes laboratory today that studies primates here in the States. So comparative psychology. Yerkes helped set up comparative psychology here in America. Um, Now it mentions that while he became a professor at Harvard, um, that he had debts he had to pay. didn't get paid an awful high sum as a professor, so he took other jobs, right? And one of those other jobs basically included being the director of psychological research at Boston State Psychopathic Hospital. And so he got introduced to the use of intelligence tests there, right? Yeah, spirit of the times. He was a strong advocate of eugenics, right? The idea that intelligence is inherited. So anyway, he started suggested a different way to do calculate IQ as well. And the total points earned for the different problems that individuals completed on the test. Anyway, that just made it easier to calculate IQ and made it much easier to give these tests to groups of people, right, and grade them more quickly, right? So anyway, he was president of the American Psychological Association in 1917, which is the year that the United States joined World War I. So they got together, the APA, said, what can we do to help out war effort? And they decided that a good thing they could do would be to develop tests, right? So devise ways of selecting and evaluating recruits that are entering the armed forces and develop tests to do that. So that's what they did under Yerkes' leadership in the Army. So yeah, they wanted to be able to identify those who had mental deficiencies, basically determine the intelligence level of the men as they're entering the military, and then be able to identify ones that would be good prospects for like training to be an officer, and of course, like they're identifying mental deficiencies, so they might make recommendations that some people not be accepted, that kind of stuff. So yeah, they had to develop a group test, could be given to large numbers at the same time, and that's basically what they did. After they put together a pencil and paper test, the Army, what became known as the Army Alpha test, they realized that they say they're like 40% of the recruits could not read or read very well, so they couldn't take the test. So they had to develop the Army Beta test to measure those who were illiterate. So I mean, that's on 1917. 40% of the men entering the military just were illiterate, basically illiterate. That's so you can see how universal education has hopefully improved things over time, right? The literate rate is really high now, right, in America. Hopefully it'll always stay that way. But anyway, and so eventually they ran a bunch of tests. They said 1.75 million individuals eventually took these tests, Army Alpha, Army Beta tests. And, they very seldomly recommended that someone not be accepted into the military. And even when they did make recommendations, the Army ignored it and went ahead and recruited them anyway. I mean, who cares if they're stupid? They can be fodder for the trench warfare, I guess. But anyway, so there's a big exercise somewhat in futility, but it was an important exercise in working on intelligence testing and testing in general, I suppose. unfortunately, this leads to where the other testing stuff leads, right? Um, they became concerned again that too many people are uh, are imbeciles or morons, right? So it rekindled interest and concern about the nation's intelligence, right? And concern that too many morons were having too many children. And that's going to bring down the national intelligence. And when you do that, well, the nation is doomed, right? According to them. So yeah, they even proposed some wacky ideas, which sometimes you hear nowadays too. Some of them advocated that these morons should not be allowed to vote, right? They're too stupid to be able to understand. So why should their vote cancel out someone who is intelligent? So they believe that. Of course, every now and then I wonder, but no. Of course, everybody has the right to vote. So you got some of that stuff, and once again, concern about curbing immigration into the nation, and once again, along with all this stuff, of course, concerned that this is the root of all crime and problems the nation has anyway. Is these imbeciles and morons? That's why there's crime. So yeah, predictable, stupid beliefs. But anyway, they gave a number here from those Army tests where they found half of white males tested equal to 13 years old or lower in terms of their intelligence. Half white males, the white male population was only as intelligent as 13-year-olds, and even under that. Oh my God! Oh, sky's falling, right? And of course they were racist at the time period too, so it's even worse for blacks. They say in here they found. But thank God there were people like Lippmann out there, and Lippmann and critics came to see over time, this is just crazy. I mean, how can you say, I think it was Lippmann in particular, although they don't mention him here, but it was Lippmann in particular, I think, if my memory is working right, they say, how could you say half the male population only has an intelligence level of 13 or below? Shouldn't society collapse right now if that's true? And just in personal experiences, that's just not the case. I mean, I run into people, half of them are not morons. They're just not, right? So it's just unbelievable. You just can't believe that half the population is that stupid. It just doesn't pass the sniff test, right? So thank God more and more people are seeing that this is crazy, but there's still mainstream science for a long time, and this was kind of in the Western world. This was the view in the Western world, and this and this obviously helped. This is stuff that the Nazis believed in Germany when they came to power, right? That basically we need to take control, and Nazis started instituting terrible things, euthanizing individuals who were mentally ill, killing them, So this stuff goes to a very deep and evil place in the extreme. But anyway, it's not quite dead. As I do mention the very controversial book, the Bell Curve, right there at the end of the chapter, published in 1994, that is expressing some of these same things. Oh my God. So it's very controversial. So they have the 6 main points of the book there. The book contends that there is general intelligence, a general ability intelligence does exist. And we differ on that. Of course, I just don't believe that. I'm a Benet guy. Multiple abilities make up intelligence, and then the theories nowadays of multiple intelligences, that just seems more true to me, for a number of reasons. But anyway, these are things they say are undebatable. You can't challenge this at all. of course, people challenge all these conclusions they made in this idiot book, the bell curve, right? So they also say that IQ tests are not demonstrably biased in any way, socially, economically, ethnically, or racially, which is not true. And they also argue that this cognitive ability of G, general ability of intelligence, is heritable for the most part, no less than 40% heritable, sometimes up to 80% heritable, genetic, which everybody, I don't know. They just and so the authors of this book say that there's kind of de facto. De facto means this is just the way it is. That kind of de facto there's this economic structure in society with those who are born intelligent living at the top, and you have all the stupid people living below. Which is just, oh my God. It's just so terrible. So yeah, a lot of these ideas still find themselves around nowadays from time to time. It's just, yeah, this is why the field of intelligence, I'm not crazy about the field of intelligence. It's done a lot of harm, right? It really has done a lot of harm. So it's not my favorite area of psychology, to say the least, right? But you should know this history, right? You should know it. You need to know it. These are valuable lessons. Just because it's the spirit of the times, just because all scientists agree, that intelligence is inherited and that we should sterilize people, don't go along with it. Be skeptical. So scientists, unfortunately, are just not as skeptical as they should be. That's one lesson. But anyway, that's it for chapter 10, and you got the test tomorrow. Holy crap! Be studying. Good luck.